Our today's horror story is coming from Aggravating Cop 1810. So, I started to hate my own campaign, but mostly a player. We all have been there.
We have. I recently ran on Threads, I ran a poll to see which type of player most other players hate. Edgelord, the person who doesn't pay any attention, they're always looking at their phone, or the main character.
Yeah, why didn't you include the rules lawyers?
I think I did. I think there were four. Rules Lawyers was the fourth one. The least one that they hated was the phone watcher. Like 50% hated the main character, and like, I don't know, 20 and 20 hated the rules lawyer and the
Edgelord.
edgelord. Yeah.
I definitely would vote for main character. I think that only main character didn't vote for main characters.
I think that most of the main characters voted for main character, but they have no self-awareness that they're the main character.
It is also possible, let's be honest. Okay.
It's true.
We all might be on this seat talking to each other as a main character to a main character.
I think a lot of our listeners can relate to this. They started to hate their campaign, but it was mostly because of one player. All right, let's see. Hello, people of Reddit. English is not my first language, so I apologize in advance for mistakes or weird phrasing. I recently started an anime-style campaign using a mecha system from my country, also anime-inspired. From the start,
let's guess what his country is. Japan?
Probably, I would think an Asian country for sure. Japan, maybe Korea.
Because
I don't know.
It is a campaign using a mecha system from my country. I don't know.
Oh, that's true.
It is very popular mecha style anime and all of this. You know, Godzilla, Mecha Godzilla, all of this stuff. It is all about Japan.
That's true. You probably nailed that one. I'm not a big anime person. I've watched and read some of it, but it's not my favorite genre. I don't dislike it though. There's good stories there.
Good stories, but they all tend to be spoiled for me by this very usual tropes for anime, which I don't really like, and they just ruin it for me. And even if it is a good story, when I see those tropes and they appear in every single anime, they can't just get rid of them. It's also unrealistic, those tropes, when they like relationship wise and harem and stuff like that. When you see it, oh, here we go again. It's just like another 10 titles.
From the start, it wasn't exactly the best system. I also had a hard time finding players. The friend I originally started with didn't like the system and left, so I was left with 2 players. Later, a third player joined, and for a few sessions, things went pretty well. I want to talk about this third player. They're the problem. The player, or the character he plays, is a classic hero without stain or fear. He wants justice, the good of the world, etc. Very idealistic
hero without stain or fear. We are going to the realms of main characters already there. Mary Sue is on the way. We all can see where it goes. Here we go.
A very idealistic character. I always found him a bit naive, but he wasn't really causing problems for the group. Maybe he was a little repetitive because he always made the same speeches, but overall it wasn't a big issue. The problem started when he began a relationship. Did we decide relationship was ship? I think
so. From the Generation Alpha.
I know this is his second language, but how does he take the time to learn Gen Alpha English, but not actual English?
And the way everybody is learning languages nowadays, through YouTube, of course, and we're watching YouTube bloggers, just like
us
me.
Old guys
you,
are getting left behind. You took all this time to learn English, and they're just throwing it out the window.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Congratulations, you just wasted your time. Basically, the last player who joined and this player started a romantic relationship. So it is ship is relationship. Okay. Between their characters. The first scene was already pretty cringe, but I let it pass. One of them even did a 30-minute monologue to confess their feelings.
I mean, in the game, 30 minutes. It can't be an out of game 30 minutes monologue. Or in the 30 minutes, it is an essay at this point.
The situation continued until the last session, where both I and another player started to feel a bit uncomfortable. Shocking, right? He wasn't doing explicit sexual scenes, but he kept making a lot of sexual implications. You know, the kind of stuff someone does when they just discovered sex, like when they're like 12 years old and every word out of your mouth is an innuendo.
It is like Beavis and the Butthead stuff. Oh, he said boner.
For example, he would say things like, me and character X go somewhere for private for a moment. And when they came back, another character would notice their hair was messy. All right, grow up a little bit. Honestly, even though this is an anime style campaign, it was starting to make me cringe quite a bit. The problem is that I've never managed to finish a campaign before because of various personal issues, and I would really hate for this one to end as well. But if I kick him out, I would have to look for another player again, and honestly, I don't feel like going through the whole process of finding new people. At the same time, I don't really know what to do. I'm wondering if I should talk to him about it. I've already called him out a lot because his character didn't really fit the setting. The campaign is sci-fi and he brought a character that uses magic, for example.
How does it work? If the system doesn't have requirements for your character creation, this mecha system, and how can you bring magic? You can try to bring anyone you want, but you have to build it according to rules. For example, in D&D, if it is you are playing official 5.5 and stuff like that, you can bring something like avatar. How do they call this on a planet? Avatar.
Archetype?
I mean the race. This race. I want to play Avatar from the movie.
Oh, the Avatar from the movies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had a player who wanted to create the Incredible Hulk as a player character.
Did he use orc for the base, or did he
used
just actually?
Orc of Eberron, but then he wanted like Hulk level strength. For him to have Hulk level strength, it would probably have to be 100.
Yes, you have to go and play according to rules still. You can't pretend that he is a Hulk, but he is going to play like that. If it is not heavily homebrewed, this way, okay, but it should have been agreed with each other. And if you are playing sci-fi and somebody starts casting firebolts, it's not happening. Yeah. Nobody in Star Trek or Star Wars cast. No, they do cast in Star Wars.
They do have some of that on some of those shows. But you have to tell him, like, this character doesn't conform with the settings, so you got to pick something else.
Yeah, there are no elves, all right, in Star Wars.
This DM seems afraid of his players.
With whom did he start this ship? With another
One of the other players' characters.
Well, they are actually participating, both of them, so it is not only him.
Maybe there's some jealousy here.
It can't be like, you can't point at one particular player if there are two of them. Yeah, he doesn't start his ship with his familiar, which he summoned for himself, right?
Right.
It is another person. Either it is DM acting for NPC, either it is a player. Yeah. So there are at least two people fading to black. And also, he also told that there is nothing explicit, sexual explicit.
Not doing explicit scenes.
What's the big deal if he from time to time tells that we fade to black and then the hair is messy? Well, I don't see there is anything all that bad.
Yeah.
How does it make you cringe?
Of it.
Or him making you cringe, it is more of maybe your problem if it is not very explicit again.
There's only 3 players and 2 of them are participating in this. So like half of your game is okay with it.
There are other players, and if they have as many problems with that, they can make those comments, make fun of this player. I don't see it happening probably. Show their cringe. But if they don't show it, maybe they are kind of fine with that. I start to think that it might be some Chelsea, as you told.
He seems to be describing it in a much more egregious way than it seems to be actually happening. But we're not there, so we don't know. And these like 12-year-old locker room type jokes about sex, that can get annoying after a while. Repeating the same joke 20 different ways is not funny.
It is his way to play, to role play. If he enjoys that, why stopping him from playing just the way he enjoys? Because it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not like he is more hoboing everybody. He's just doing his thing. Like, just let him do his thing. And
I think as DM, you can step in and say, okay, we fade to black on that situation, and we move on to the other person in the group who's actually playing D&D while these people are having their ship.
true.
You got one person soloing, and the other two people are just finding places to engage in their relationship.
As a DM, how did he allow him to have 30-minute long monologue?
That's on him.
I don't understand.
If he had 30 minutes, that's on him, the DM.
You give him 5 minutes to express his feelings, and that's it. That's more than it.
And he includes an update. In the end, I decided not to let it go anymore. I talked in a clear and direct way, explaining my limits as a GM and what was starting to frustrate me. I talked about the problems and set some limitations. I don't know yet how things will go in the long term, but at least now my position is clear. I preferred to address it now instead of keep accumulating frustration and risk ruining the experience for everyone. We'll see if this will be enough to fix things, but for now I feel more calm. Thanks for the advice. Hope I don't need an update to this post. It sounds like he just sent this person a message instead of having an actual conversation about it. That's a mistake.
Yeah, this is just one-way communication. It doesn't really work. Also, there are some people that dragging their mood out of the game. Some people just don't feed the table or are disruptive. If a guy is acting and role-playing, even if it is like shaping and stuff like that, I would be okay with that. But probably it is for my table. Maybe for your table, it would also be out of limits, and you would say this person, like, dude, you don't fit well.
I probably would have a conversation if he was making it too explicit about dialing it back a little bit. I don't see anything in what was written here that tells me that he took it explicit. He even says that he didn't get explicit.
Yes.
I do feel like the third person in their group is getting left out of a lot of the game while this is going on. So I don't necessarily like that part.
Everybody have to share equal amount of spotlight. You can't single out one player and spend all of your attention on shipping or shipment. Drop shipment.
Shiptasm, whatever. What do we call it?
Drop your drop shipping.
As a DM, make sure everybody's included. Put away your personal feelings, let your table play its game, and just be there with the rules and the plot and what the DM is supposed to do.
Do you have any game you want to announce in particular?
I'm still recruiting for that bi-weekly Monday game. Once we put together a group, you guys will get to decide what you want me to run for you. Whether it's homebrew, pre-made, whatever you want to play, you decide as a group, and then I'll run it for you. Monday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and you can click the links or the link to sign up for the game. Up to you.
We can pin in the first message a direct link to this game, for example.
Sure.